Can we stop with this ongoing narrative with Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum? I mean, my goodness, ESPN is ridiculous with these narratives. I don't know if you saw it on Get Up, but they said that Jayson Tatum is somewhat jealous because Jaylen Brown won Eastern Conference Finals MVP.
The rest of the team just goes crazy, and you were talking about it in our meeting earlier this morning. They all were so genuinely, look at them, they're all so genuinely excited for him, and you did not seem to think that it was mirrored in Jayson Tatum.
Because of a reaction he had that apparently he wasn't smiling enough. I just don't get it. And it's sad. Kendrick Perkins was, criticizing the Celtics for losing 2 games during their run to the finals.
Not be gentlemen about the situation, but actually sweep them. Not one single series did they sweep them. I don't see a 4-0.
They swept Indiana.
No. Oh, yeah, they just swept them. I'm sorry. They just swept them. But they're supposed to sweep them. They're supposed to sweep these guys.
Stop it. Get some help.
And I'm like, didn't you guys go 7 against the 8th seed Atlanta Hawks? You went 7 against the Cavs and 6 against Detroit. Then you went 6 against the Lakers. Here's a reality check. The playoffs is not easy. I don't care who you're playing. The intensity is different. People are going to show up. And for Boston to go into each series, I know we're going to talk about the injury part in a second, but when they went in these series, last year, if you didn't watch them, they were super inconsistent. They lost to teams under 500. They didn't take advantage of the opportunities. But this year, when they went to game 3s and it was 1-1, they took care of business. They swept Indiana. They won in 5 against Cleveland and won in 5 against Miami. Now, let's talk about the injury part of this because people are saying, okay, the competition wasn't as good. Well, if you're making multiple conference finals appearances, you're going to have some injury luck along the way. It's just inevitable because they keep showing up at this point of the season. And this year, it so happens that there were injuries. Here's a reality check. Injuries are a part of sports. Next year, you're going to have injuries during the playoffs. It's going to happen again and again. Now, when it comes to their success, do they need to win a championship? Absolutely. No one's denying that. But it's exhausting with the narratives. Like, why are we trying to divide Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum? They have their own way of playing basketball. And to say, like, Tatum is upset or, he somehow doesn't like Jaylen Brown or whatever they're saying, it's dumb. Now, I want to play that clip from Joe Mazzulla today in his press conference where he gave his thoughts on this narrative between Tatum and Brown, and we'll come back and get right back into this.
And now that you guys are in the finals, Jaylen and Jayson, their relationship, obviously kind of like tension of just wanting to be the best, becomes this narrative for so many talking heads around the country or world. From your perspective, does that seem far-fetched? And I guess just what has it been like your experience with these guys over the last few years?
That's a really good question. I'm kind of praying about how deep I want to get into that because the whole thing about that really pisses me off, and I think it's unfair to both of them. And I think it's stupid that people have to use those 2 guys' names and use information that they don't know to create clickbait so that they could stay relevant. And it's very unfair that those 2 get compared. They're two completely different people. They're 2 completely different players. They're great teammates. They love each other, and they go about winning, and they go about their process in a different way. So why they have to always be lumped together, I think, is unfair, and people just use it for their own relativity. And at the end of the day, those 2 guys, their relationship is their relationship. They love each other. They push each other every single day in practice. They communicate with each other, but they go about winning differently. And I think that both get an unfair, being compared to each other. They're different. You see other duos around the league don't have to go through that. And it's because of the platform that they have. It's because they've been so successful their entire careers. They've been able to long-stand success at a high level. And so people need them in order to stay relevant. And they should not talk on speculation. They should get to know them as people before they talk about that stuff. They're 2 of the greatest teammates and players that we could have, and it's been an honor to coach both of them. Doesn't mean they have to be the same.
So a couple of things that stood out in that press conference, and I love what Joe Mazzulla had to say, really standing up for his players. The success that Brown and Tatum have experienced. Multiple conference finals appearances. 2 NBA finals. And people criticize them, and some of it is warranted. I've criticized my team because I think, last year really was disappointing, but they've been in the NBA Finals 2 of the last 3 seasons. And I want to ask you, just as a fan of your team, would you take those numbers? Would you love to have that type of success where your team is either in the conference finals or in the NBA Finals 2 of the last 3 seasons? In fact, last year they got to a Game 7 before they lost to Miami. Would you take that run for your team? If you don't, you're just casual and you're not really a fan of a team. So again, part of me doesn't like the fact they are being overly criticized and scrutinized in a way where it's like they can't do anything right. If it doesn't look a certain way, then they're going to be put down and say, oh yeah, they're just not that good. This team won 64 games. They put themselves in a position to get to the finals. Everybody had them coming out the East. So let's just say Giannis and Dame were healthy. Donovan Mitchell was healthy. Tyrese Halliburton didn't get hurt. Jimmy Butler and Terry Rozier played in that series. Is Boston being favored in every series? Yes. Are they going to win all of them? Yes, no doubt about it. Even with Kristaps being hurt, because they got depth. And to me, this team does seem different. Now, I will say this. They got to win the last 4 games. Because if they don't, it's going to be rough for them. Joe Mazzulla made a good point that other duos don't get the same type of criticism as Boston. And it comes to the territory because they have a lot of success. And when you're winning and you're getting this deep in the playoffs, people are just going to hate for whatever reason. They just can't appreciate what they're seeing. And the consistency that Brown and Tatum have shown in the East has been unbelievable. It's something that every team should strive for. Now, will Boston continue to maintain this level of success? I think so. They locked up Jrue Holiday. They're going to extend Derek White. And if you think that nobody else will come to Boston just to play with this team and have the chance to win a championship, you don't know much about basketball. Because if you go look at history, and once you break through, vets want to join this movement because they're like, hey, I can get a ring. Let me come to Miami Heat. Let me go join the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Golden State Warriors. I mean, it's a thing. So if Boston breaks through, they're going to get guys. You're going to see a vet just sign a minimum deal and they just add to their roster. So I think Boston, all they got to do is just finish the job. If they beat Dallas in 5 games, 6 games, or whatever, it's not going to matter because they'll be champs. Now, I guarantee you that there will be narratives out there if they end up winning the finals that they're going to say, oh, they had an easy run. The Mavs weren't as good when people are propping up Luka Doncic. I think Luka has been unbelievable during this playoff run, and so has Kyrie. They both have been spectacular, and I'm excited for the series. It's going to be really fun basketball to watch. Now, with all that being said, the media is just annoying. Kendrick Perkins saying things like, oh, they should have never lost to anybody in the East, when the reality is you guys went 7 games against an 8th seed. You had Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen. You didn't win a single road game until the Eastern Conference Finals. Should we put you guys down? I mean, you want to give out that energy. That's not good, but you still won the NBA championship against Kobe Bryant. You were down 24 in Game 4 and won and finished that series in 6. So, to me, if they win the championship, none of this is going to matter. I just think with Tatum and Brown, we got to appreciate them for who they are. They just go out there and they win. Wouldn't you want that as a fan? If you had 2 players getting you to the conference finals consistently and other years getting you to the NBA finals, don't you want to be part of that experience? I know I would. I'm glad I'm on this journey. Obviously, as a Boston fan, I'm not sure if they're going to win the finals. It's definitely hard for me to believe in that, but they might prove me wrong. We saw them against Indiana. They showed up in those clutch situations. You could say, oh, they didn't have Halliburton for 2 games. They still got it done. So, there's just nothing Boston can do that will change people's minds, even if they win it all, because it's going to be people out there saying, oh, they'll never get back here again. I could see it like the 2015 Warriors, where they were saying, oh, the Warriors had all that injury luck, and then Golden State got back to the finals next year, and they won 4 championships with that group. I know they have Kevin Durant, but hey, they still won those rings. So, to me, I think Boston could have the same experience. We'll see. That is to be determined, but man, gotta stop with these narratives because, like Joe Mazzulla said, it's just ridiculous and it's out of pocket. Hope you guys enjoyed this video today. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what ESPN and other media outlets are saying about the Boston Celtics, creating these false narratives between Tatum and Brown. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.